Hello everybody, welcome to F1 Grandstand. I'm Tony Craig, and if you are an F1 fan, you are in the right place. Hit the subscribe button, join the community and get involved. This is the 2025 Belgian Grand Prix preview show. We've got a lot to get through. I'm going to take you through the circuit. We're going to talk about which teams are bringing upgrades, which drivers are bringing their heat this weekend, new team bosses and their impact. Get in the chat and say hello and tell me your opinions, because we want you to get interactive. First up, let's look at the circuit. Spa-Francorchamps, 7 kilometers of pure F1 magic. Start by blasting down the main straight at over 185 miles per hour. DRS wide open heading into La Source. Turn 1, it's a tight right hand hairpin, heavy on the brakes and a prime overtaking spot. Get the exit right and it sets you up for the most iconic sequence in Formula 1. We plunge downhill into Eau Rouge and Raidillon turns 2, 3 and 4. The car compresses hard at the bottom, then rockets uphill through the left-right sweep of Raidillon. With the throttle pinned and the G-forces crushing your ribs, in 2025 cars, it's still flat if you're brave, but with lower downforce setups, it's a knife edge stuff. Onto the Kemmel straight, the first real launch zone of the lap, full deployment of hybrid energy, and with the tow and DRS, this is where the battles get personal. Then it goes into Lecombe, turn 5, 6 and 7, a right, left, right chicane complex at the end of Kemmel. You're braking uphill, dancing on the edge of grip, and if you lock up here, you're heading straight for the runoff. Nail the line and you are flying. Next up, Brussels, turn 8, a long downhill right-hander where the car just wants to understeer wide. It's all about trail braking and patience before you tuck into turn 9, then tight left flick where the exit matters way more than the entry. Now we dive downhill toward the double apex of Pouan. Turns 10 and 11. This one is brutal. High-speed left-handers taken in 5th or 6th gear easily over 155 miles per hour. Balance is everything. Lift too much and you're slow. Don't lift enough and you are in the wall. Catch your breath because here comes Campus. Turns 12 and 13. Technical right-left combo, and with a full race load, the rear end wants to get away from you. Stay tight and smooth on the throttle. Then you flick it into Stavelot. Turn 14. Open up for turn 15, which feeds into the Paul Frere straight. Power down, hybrid systems recharging or deploying depending on your strategy, and now the car stretches its legs again. We sweep through Blanchimont. Turn 16, one of the fastest corners in F1. Flat out in qualifying. It's heart in your mouth in the race if you're side by side. You barely lift. It's one of the last real bravery tests in modern Formula 1. Then it's the final showdown, the bus stop chicane, turns 17 and 18, hard on the brakes from over 200 miles per hour. You flick right, then left, nail the exit, and you're back onto the pit straight, launching another lap. And that's a lap of Spa, fast flowing, technical, terrifying. One of the best tracks in the world, baby. It's a 44-lap race, 308 kilometers, and we can watch it all together for my F1 Grandstand watch-along on Sunday. So, that's Spa. But which teams are bringing upgrades? Now, I've talked about this a lot this week, so I'll briefly go through what we're looking at. First up, McLaren. They've got an unexpected upgrade from FP1 in Silverstone. They tried out a new floor. Turns out that new floor pretty darn good, so they will be running that floor at Spa. They've also got revised suspension setup for Lando. They're calling it an upgrade, but it's actually more of an alternative. They're saying there's no real performance enhancement, but it is an alternative for Lando that he prefers, so he will be racing with that revised suspension setup. Oscar has decided to keep the old front suspension setup. He's happy with it, and he also wants to see, he said, to quote him, that he will get a better idea of the new floor upgrade if he doesn't change the suspension setup. So that's McLaren. Who else has got stuff going on? We have got Ferrari. They're bringing an upgrade they've been working on this week heavily. So they've got a new rear suspension. That rear suspension is there to fix the ride height issue, which has caused them problems with disqualification. They've had to run the car at a height that the car wasn't designed to run at, which was affecting aero and other issues. Now they think they've solved that with this new rear suspension upgrade, which will be coming to Spa. Solve the instability problem through high-speed corners as well. So we're actually quite excited to see how that impacts the Ferrari this weekend. Aha. And of course, Mercedes, who were making noises that they've got some upgrades. They talked about bringing upgrades. Problem is, nobody's got any idea what those upgrades actually are. So if anybody's watching, I can see 4 of you on there watching right now. Tell me in the chat if you know what upgrades Mercedes have actually got this weekend. Because I want to know. I've been trying to find this. My man on the ground, Tubby George, has been trying to find out for me. And I tell you, it's a mystery. But we do know they were saying, they were making noises as if, yeah, we're still developing the car. That's my Toto Wolff impression. They're still developing the car. That's not good, is it? I actually think they've checked out. I actually think they've checked out until 2026. I don't think they're going to bring any upgrades this season. But anyway, what do I know? But I'd like to know, if you do know what Mercedes are bringing this weekend, tell me in the chat. And I can see a lot of you watching. I'll just say hello. Get involved. It's interactive. This is your show. This is our community space where we can share ideas and I can give you a shout out. So if you want to get involved, get in that chat. Okay, it's not just mechanical upgrades. Okay, there's personnel upgrades arguably going on. We can't not talk about Red Bull, can we? So we all know the fate of Horner is gone. He will be back, by the way. Check out my video from earlier this week about Horner's return. But for now, long live Laurent Mekies. Is that how you pronounce his name? Mekies? Mekes? The new Red Bull boss. Look at him, smiley little dude. His first priority was to convince Max Verstappen to stay at Red Bull. He's been tasked with steadying that ship. I'm not sure he's done that yet. He's only had 2 weeks in the job. Verstappen's still making moves like he wants to go to Mercedes next year, even though it might cost him a cool 100 million to get out of his Red Bull contract. He definitely hasn't secured any signatures from Max or any public announcements as Max is saying, I will be with Red Bull next year. So he's got to work on that. And also, he's taken over Red Bull in the middle of a season. So the 2026 car is surely still going to be a Horner car, because a lot of that work and development must have happened under Horner. So how much influence and impact is Mekies going to have on that 2026 car? Tell me in the chat, what do you think? How is he going to get his hands on that car to make a meaningful impact on the development for the 2026 car? Never mind what he's going to do this season for the next 12 races. But this weekend is his first GP in his new role. Do you think he can have any positive impact? I mean, I suppose there's one place where I think he might be able to have an impact, and that's probably on Yuki. Because, you know, he can help Yuki improve his performance, possibly. He's known him a long time. He worked with him in the Red Bull sister team. He knows him inside out. And we also know Yuki has not been delivering. I mean, it's 99% nailed on that Yuki has lost his drive at Red Bull for next year. So what we're really wondering is, can Mekies work some sort of voodoo magic to help Yuki get the best out of himself and the car this weekend? What do you think? I mean, he's going to have some sort of magic touch to make that happen. I don't know enough about him, because even when he was running Racing Bulls, I still felt that Horner was really running that team and Mekies was more of a yes man, do as you're told. I'm not really convinced or sure yet. I'm waiting to see what Mekis brings to the table. He seems like a nice guy, whereas Horner seemed seemed a bit of a dick. But Mekis seems like a nice guy. Can that nice guy create a winning F1 team? Like, sometimes it takes a dick to win. Do you know what I mean? Tell me what you think in the chat window. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what he's going to bring to the table after 2 weeks in the role and what immediate impact he can have. The only thing I can think about is he's going to help Yuki get his head on to try and get the best out of himself and the car this weekend. Because right now, where's Yuki in the championship? Let me check. He's 17th. Both Racing Bull drivers are higher in the driver championship than him. It's going to take a miracle for him to turn it around and keep a seat next year. It's 99% nailed on he's not going to be there. But what do you think? So tell me what you think, if you think he's going to be able to have an impact on Yuki. But there's obviously been other personnel change because of the Horner sacking. We've now got Alan Permane in the top job at Racing Bulls. This is his debut as a team boss. Got to be honest, don't know that much about the guy. How much power and control is he going to have, as he is only running the sister team? He's running the Racing Bulls. It is his debut this weekend. I want to know what you think the impact this guy can have. I know he's got technical skills and strategy skills. He's proved that every team he's worked at. But is he going to be more of a puppet for Mekis? Is he going to be a bit of a yes man role, or can he impact his drivers? Because actually, let's look at those drivers. I mean, Lawson's an interesting one for me because he seems to be finding his groove after being dropped from the Red Bull seat. You know, is Alan helping him with his confidence? You know, will he help Lawson continue his revival with his performances this weekend? And where do you think Lawson will finish? Do you think Lawson's a talent? Because I remember before he got his Red Bull seat, the way he spoke, I mean, he was almost super arrogant, super confident. And you had confidence in the guy. You thought, you know what? He's quick. What happened in that second seat at Red Bull, I think, must have shattered him. But he's coming back. You know, his performance at Silverstone was strong. You know, he sits currently 16th in the championship. Obviously, his teammate Isaac is up in 11th. He's got 12 races left. But what I can tell you is his seat in the Racing Bulls next season is nailed on. Hajar is going to be promoted to the Red Bull seat, and Lawson and Lindblad are going to be in the Racing Bulls. So maybe that settled him a little bit. Maybe they've given a nod and told him, look, you're going to be here. We know what happened at Red Bull has happened to many drivers in that number 2 seat. It's an undrivable car unless you're Max. So maybe Alan Permane's new job is to get Lawson focused, calm him down after that bitter disappointment in that second seat of Red Bull, and see how far Lawson can go in the next 12 races. Because actually the Racing Bulls car looks a hell of a lot better than that second Red Bull car. Which brings us on to the other Racing Bull driver. I love this guy, Hajar. You know, he's less of a problem than Lawson. He's having a really solid rookie year. Solid performances, and I told you before, he's nailed on to be promoted to a Red Bull seat in 2026. But how do you think he's going to get on in Spa? How do you think the car and his driving style is going to work in Spa? Is he going to outperform Lawson or even Yuki in the Red Bull? Like I said, Lawson's closing that gap now. Hajar's currently 11th. Yuki having a terrible season in that second seat. You know, Yuki's all the way down in 17th. Even Lawson is above Yuki in 16th. So it's going to be interesting to see, because if Hajar performs better than Lawson and Yuki, it's just cementing his future at Red Bull for the next season. He does look like he reminds me a bit of Juan Pablo Montoya in his driving style and his demeanour. But yeah, Hajar is looking like in his rookie season, he's really ticking all the boxes. And speaking of drivers that tick all the boxes, and by the way, get in the chat and tell me what you think about Hajar. Check out my guy, Nico Hülkenberg. Now he is my driver in focus tonight. Looking at the Hulk, like I wanted to give him a special mention because if you are unsure about this guy, because he's almost anonymous, even though he's 37 years old, he's had 239 Grand Prix starts over a 14-year career, never finished higher than 7th in the Drivers' Championship, never ever won a race, but at Silverstone this year, in a Sauber, he got his first ever podium. And he started on the grid in P19 to finish 3rd. Hülkenberg is well and truly on fire. So why am I talking about it in the preview show for the Spa race this weekend? Well, because I wonder what effect that has on a driver. 14 years, never had a podium. And then he goes from 19th to 3rd, gets his first podium in the last race. 2 weeks later, he's going into one of the best tracks in the world. What's that gonna do to him? So he's my driver in focus. I mean, obviously in the race at Silverstone, yeah, the race worked in his favour in many ways, but you still can't take anything away from his drive. Honestly, well done, Nico. And I want to know from you what that result is going to do for him this weekend. Will it help him get out of Q1? That's what we want to see, because his qualifying performance has been abysmal. So, will that result at Silverstone help him get out of Q1 and put in a good qualifying performance? I want you to tell me what you think in the chat. Or am I just being romantic about Hülkenberg, hoping that he is going to do something spectacular at Spa? Honestly, I'm so excited about this weekend because I've got watch along, so make sure you tune in for my live streams for the Belgian Grand Prix race weekend. I've got the qualifying watch along and the race watch along where we can watch all the action together. And what I want to do is discuss all the action as it happens live in the chat window. So I can shout you out, I can say hello, and I know a lot of you got this amazing technical knowledge and you might be able to share that in the window, because we also get people who are going to watch who, you know, they just want to watch the racing, but they like to learn. And I want to develop a community where we share ideas, we debate stuff, and it's a friendly place for people to come and enjoy F1 together. And we can all maybe learn together. So please tune in for the watch-alongs. Tell me what you think about the things we've discussed tonight on this live show. And get excited, baby. We are nearly there for one of the greatest tracks in the world, 44 laps of Spa. I'm so excited about it. Okay, that's enough for me. Thanks for watching F1 Grandstand. Please like, comment, join the community, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can keep up to date. I will be back tomorrow with more news, I promise. I will see you then.